Hello, good afternoon. We're live. How is everybody today? I've got something really, really special for you today. I love it when I have people who are willing, volunteers to come on and chat to me about what they do and what turns them on in life. And today I have got the rather wonderful Kim Wymer. Kim is a inspirational, positive empowerment coach, author, and speaker. We are going to be talking about law of attraction marketing, all of those things. I'm really excited for you to meet her. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Kim in. Hello, Kim.
Hi there, Fiona. It's exciting. Hello, lovely. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, we had a really interesting conversation the other week, and I just thought you'd be a really interesting person to bring on. Your message is right up my street. As you know, I do like the content stuff, and a lot of people find a lot of people hold themselves back from being their full authentic selves, and so you are absolutely the person to help people to step into that role. So, yeah.
Thank
So
you.
tell everybody, Kim, what is it that you do specifically? I've got you as an empowerment coach. What does that mean? What does that entail?
Yeah, a big long title, an empowerment coach. So I specialize in positivity at the end of the day because I was always a negative thinking person. It was in my upbringing, and around 10 years ago, I had my massive life crash, and I was told by friends I had to be more positive. So I looked up positive thinking, and it started there. So there's a big story behind that. But what I do is I help people with their mindsets to become more of a positive thinker, a positive feeler.
Mhm.
I'm also an author as well of my own personal transformational
Mm.
journey. I wrote about my life and my journey and how I actually changed from being a negative thinker to a positive thinker. So, I included in the book everything that happened. And I'm also a course facilitator as well. So I have an online course and it's all positive thinking. So I help people to
It
become,
is.
have more inner peace, feel more confident in themselves, and find out what could be stopping that inner feel good inside. And we get down to the nitty gritty and teach all the happy tools really and change it all around because it can be done. It can be done.
Absolutely, it can. You and I both. It's funny because 10 years ago was when I had my thing as well, that made me start questioning all of the things. I reached out for help. Let's be honest, the NHS has limited resources to offer to people who are going through what we were going through. Um, but I was lucky enough to go into a group coaching sort of scenario, group self-help, and I met a wonderful lady who is still a friend to this day, friend of mine to this day, and she gave me a few books to start with, and one of them was just about. It was called, because if anybody is watching this and you are like in a really bad place right now, there's a book I can recommend, other than Kim's book, obviously, but there's a book called Depressive Illness, The Curse of the Strong. Okay. And I forget, it's Tim Cantifer, I think, rings a bell as the author. And that is literally for people who are right at the rock bottom. You can
Yeah.
barely focus. It's a really easy to read book, and it literally is just telling you to be kind to yourself and what next steps you can take to just get out of that sludge. You know where I'm talking about. Um,
Yeah.
because people say, "Oh, you need to be more positive." That
Yeah.
actually isn't necessarily just the answer, is it? Because I was actually in these groups, I was told, "Oh, you're a very naturally positive person," and yet I felt like under the rug. I was just in such a bad
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what would you say would be a really good thing for people who are in that place? What kind of things would you recommend that
Yeah, well,
they do?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to cast my mind back to how it actually happened. I remember
Because
being
it's
in
hard, isn't it? It's hard when you
Yeah,
when you're where we are now. You're like,
yeah, like it happened in
"Was it like
stages.
that then?
Yeah.
It was horrible, but I can't."
Yeah, where did it start? I remember
Yeah.
actually feeling really uncomfortable, feeling really miserable about my life and the situation that I was in. I felt stuck. I felt like I was
Mm.
wading through mud and nothing was happening. And I was in a job that
Yeah.
I literally really detested. A job that I didn't like
Yeah.
in a supermarket actually, and I wasn't really doing much with my life. And I just thought, is this it? Is this my
Mm.
life? Why am I here? What am I supposed to
Yeah.
be doing in this life? I don't know. I haven't got a clue, and I don't even particularly want to be here, really. So I was
Mhm.
in a rocky relationship, like marriage wise as well, and just wasn't happy with everything in my life, and especially myself. I wasn't happy with myself. Didn't like myself, basically. The way I looked, what I stood for. I didn't even know about values. I didn't know about future goals. I didn't know about anything about that.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I just remember it. I just remember laying on my grass in the garden, hands behind my head, looking up at the sky, saying, "What's this life all about? What am I supposed to be doing? Help me understand. I don't know what I'm going to do next because I can't go on like this. It's boring and I just want something new and different." Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny
Yeah.
enough, my sister had emigrated to Australia around about that time.
Mhm.
And a few months later, she sent me a DVD called The Secret. Have you
Ah,
heard?
yes, The Secret.
Yeah,
Have I? I mean, that's first step attraction marketing, law of attraction, isn't it? Yeah, life changer, that one.
yeah, totally, totally. And she sent me this CD, and I was upset as well because my sister was my best friend and she'd gone to live in Australia.
Mm.
And so I put this CD on. I thought, what has she sent me? And she just sent me a message from Australia saying, you'll really like this. It's not a film. She said it's more like a scientific documentary. You'll really like this. Tell me what you think. So
Mhm.
I put it on, obviously by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, and I thought, what has
Yeah.
she sent me? What's this all about? I just didn't understand it. I didn't get it, what it was saying, the message that it was giving. And because I had a drinking problem back then as well. Yeah, that was numbing
Mhm.
all of my problems. That was how I thought was helping me to get through, but it wasn't. It was actually making things worse.
Mhm.
Um, I thought I can't really understand what it's saying. I wasn't focused enough to understand it. It took me a few watches, going back to it and watching it a few
Mhm.
times and then talking to my sister about it for me to kind of like get what it was saying. And
Yeah.
then I got upset. Then I got emotionally upset, thinking if
Mhm.
this is real, if this is a documentary, if this is science, explaining it like it's quantum physics, then oh my goodness, what have I done to myself all of my life? Why did I do all that?
Yeah.
Why didn't I know about this stuff? And I
Yeah.
like a flashback of what my former life and understanding that we create our own lives, yeah, and we are the
Mhm.
co-creators of our own lives going forward.
Yep.
I got really emotionally upset, yeah, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, but I didn't know the next step. So,
It's
you know,
interesting. I think it triggers that kind of reaction in a lot of people when it sinks in. I mean, a lot of people watch that and go, "What a load of old rubbish. I didn't create this terrible situation I'm in.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
enjoying this. I didn't create this." And yet, actually, if we're honest with ourselves, we kind of did. I mean, certainly when we get to adulthood, it's like, yeah, I've had choices about all of
yeah,
this and, you
yes,
know, and it can be
yeah,
upsetting. It absolutely
it it
rocks your
can.
world.
It
Yeah.
certainly does. And it is a touchy subject when you look at it like that to say,
Mm.
I didn't attract this. No, I didn't. We get into certain situations and we make certain choices that kind of like slot into little synchronized shifts, like scenarios, like what it's
Mhm.
like a big old puzzle. It's like a big puzzle. of taking the step
Yeah.
back, realizing what you did. Oh, I made that choice then, so that happened. I met that person, then this happened. And it's like thinking back, yes, I did make all of those choices. And I had to accept that. Yeah. And when you
Yeah.
do accept it, you understand more
Yeah.
about, life and your choices going forward. You certainly do.
Absolutely. It's a bitter old
Mm.
pill to swallow, but the
It,
thing is,
it was.
once you've taken that particular
Yeah.
horrible medicine, you then move forward realizing what you're doing and making better choices
Certainly.
and thinking
That's
better
right.
thoughts.
It,
Yeah.
it,
And that's the
it, is,
power of it.
it is powerful, and it is, Fiona, it is like a medicine. I had
It
to go
is.
and look into my deep, dark shadows.
Hmm.
It brought all of that stuff up. It kind of like, it's like doing the shadow work, if you like. See, because you
Totally.
say about being positive and you've got to be positive, but you've got to look at your dark side and investigate that
Hmm.
first. It's like you can't
Yeah.
put beautiful fresh flowers in a dirty vase.
Hmm.
I had to do all the cleaning and the deep shadow work first and really investigate and find out about me and myself first,
Totally.
so
It's like getting the abscess out of the root of a rotten
yeah,
tooth, isn't it?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then getting that tooth out and,
yes, totally.
yeah. So
Doing the
what
root.
kind of changes did that instigate in your life then? What were your next steps after you'd done all of
I've
that
come to many,
horrible, unpleasant stuff? What happened
yeah,
next?
coming to many realizations actually about how I was as a person, because you don't know yourself if no one's telling you. You just think you're being normal. You just being how your family has brought you up to be, or your carers,
Mm,
or whoever brought you up. You're being like that because that's all you know, don't they?
absolutely.
Because they say we're programmed by the time we're 7. So all we
Hmm.
know is whoever brought us up in a certain way. So you don't realize how you are as a person, especially if no
You
one tells
don't.
you, and things get shoved under the carpet and you don't really communicate things. Because that was a big thing in my marriage. We didn't really have that much communication. So things were getting swept under the carpet, and not being
Yeah.
spoken about. So I had to kind of find my voice, really, to go
Yeah.
deeper. Because I was a shy person. Yeah,
Yeah.
introverted person. No, I had no self-esteem or self-acceptance
Mm,
whatsoever. And my partner was the same. He was very much the same. So that's why,
mm.
in the first place, how we attracted to each other, because we was both on that energy. You see, we
Yeah.
did it. It was
Like
like
attracts
like.
like.
Yeah, like attracts
Absolutely.
like. So we were probably the mirrors of each other. Slightly different personalities, but yeah, we were probably mirrored each other by our energy in the
Mm,
beginning.
mm,
So yeah, the first steps I had to take was to actually write things down.
mm.
So this no,
Powerful.
before that actually was to actually try to wean myself off of the drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you
because
just can't
that,
think
yeah,
properly, can you? You cannot
no,
think clearly.
no,
I mean,
no.
I quit drinking myself only a couple of years ago. I
Mm,
didn't have like even a problem with alcohol, but I found that my head was fuzzy and people talk about brain fog.
yeah,
And for me, that was the key to getting
yeah,
rid of the brain fog was actually
yeah.
just stopping the alcohol. I wasn't
Oh,
drinking massive amounts,
mm,
but I was still
yeah,
feeling like crap the
yeah,
next day,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
absolutely
easily
key.
done. Yeah, totally
Mhm.
easily done. So for me to focus on actually writing things down, I did have to work on um, less toxins, which was the main thing, was the alcohol. Oh, I got many
Yeah.
stories that helped me get off of that as well, because I believe that once you ask something, the universe is going to help you to get that ball
Mhm.
rolling. Yeah.
Totally. When the
So
student's ready, the teacher appears.
yeah, yeah, totally. And because those things started to happen to help me get off of the alcohol, it was getting a little bit easier, and I really did want change. I wanted change so much, so I was really
Yeah.
working towards trying to get off that alcohol. It wasn't
Mhm.
easy. It wasn't easy at
No.
all. I didn't go to AA. I didn't go to AA, so I did it
Mhm.
myself. Um, but yeah, I started writing things down, and I thought the earliest I started writing is the earliest I could remember, which was about 5 years old. So I started there.
Mhm.
of my really early memories. And I started writing and writing and writing, and it was like a habit because we are habitual
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah.
It was a habit, and I was writing everything down, but I was writing in a notebook,
Yeah.
handwritten. I wasn't typing. Typing's not my
Oh,
forte.
has to be done. This is my journal.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
every morning that gets all of the crap that I wake up with and go in my head goes in here and then it's off my plate, you know? So that's
totally.
important, isn't it? Because one of the things that we progress to moving forward to where I am now, and these are things, habits that I've personally trickled into my life bit by
Yeah,
bit. But one of those things is morning routine.
yeah,
First thing is I eat breakfast because I always wake up starving hungry, but that's just me. And I know a lot of people don't do breakfast, but man, whatever. That's another
yeah,
conversation. Um, First thing after that is journal, get all of that crap out of my
yeah,
head, and
yeah,
then meditate.
yeah,
And then I read a book.
yeah.
And so it's like cleaning out the bowl and then putting good food into the bowl. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's exactly
Yeah.
it. That's exactly it. And it,
So
it
is that
really
something
matters
you
what.
still do?
Yeah, it
Sorry.
really matters. Yeah, we've all got our own routines and the things that we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reading is a brilliant idea. Yes, meditating or listening to something that's on repeat that's going to help you switch from, one thinking system into another thinking system. So it's really good to listen to something on repeat.
Mhm.
And the food that you're eating, what you're putting into your body, that's a big mood factor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had to
And
change my diet to,
hydration, drinking enough
yes,
water.
water, even just simple water, totally.
Water. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a bit dry.
I've got my kombucha today, actually. I'm drinking kombucha.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love
Very
it.
nice. Is that
Um,
homemade or have you bought that?
I have tried to make my own, and it's a process, and it's time consuming, and I don't. It's
It
not
is
the
a bit, oh,
same with
yeah, it's a
like
bit messy as well.
yeah, it's messy, and the thing is, the bottled stuff is processed. So when I find some time, I'll just try
Yeah.
again.
I've managed to
Um,
find some here in France that's sugar-free. It's got a
yeah.
bit of a fizz to it, and because it's mildly alcoholic, isn't it? But literally like a 0.1%
Oh,
alcohol or something
right.
ridiculous.
Okay. Where
No.
did I put my?
But
Okay. All right.
um, the important thing is to find sugar-free,
Oh, definitely sugar
because
free. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, um,
If you make your own, you can over ferment it. If you over ferment it,
mhm,
that's when it kick in with a slightly alcohol taste.
yeah. So I
And
find it
kefir.
quite sort of like bit of a oh, because I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I had like a tiny little shot glass of it just to sort because I was told build up slowly with kombucha, and I had a little shot of it, and oh, it was like that, and I actually felt a little bit drunk
Oh
for an
no.
hour afterwards, but I
Oh
because I don't
really?
drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess it depends on which one you get, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
suppose
but
it
it's
does.
gut
Maybe
health,
in
isn't it?
France. Yeah, maybe they over ferment
Well,
it
the
in
French
France
drink
because
so
it
much
does
damn
give that
alcohol anyway.
to me. Oh, don't. Um,
Uh,
yeah, so what was we saying about
so where were we?
food? Food.
Yes.
Food we eat can affect
Food.
our moods.
Totally. Well, the whole gut health thing, because we're going to go off on a lot of tangents here today, Kim. I know
I
it
know.
because there's just got that kind of vibe going on, right? But gut health, and mental health are so closely linked. Um,
Yes.
I tell you what, a book that I've absolutely loved, and I had it on my Audible, and I listen to Audible books sometimes where I'm walking the
Yeah,
dogs a lot of the time.
yeah,
Um, and it's Sean Stevenson's Eat Smarter, and he's goes into all the science of all the different nutrients that affect you, and he talks about kombucha and the gut health and the microbiome and all of that, and
yeah,
they've done tests, did you know, in mice, um, and this is about weight, but they've done human tests about like mental health and stuff, but you can literally put the gut flora
Yeah.
from a healthy person, a mentally healthy person, into the gut of somebody who is depressed, and
Yeah.
actually change their mood just from that.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
early stages on the research, but
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
indication.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's mind blowing
It is,
that
isn't it?
something
It
like that.
totally is. Yeah.
They say the gut is like the second brain, don't they?
Yes,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, the
and a
vagus
lot of,
nerve connection.
yeah, absolutely. So
Most definitely.
yeah,
I love that. I love that. And it's so true. When I eat well, I make stews and green stews and soups. I
mm,
love it because then I feel good. And because when you're feeling good, it's all about energy and radiating high vibes. That when you're
yeah,
feeling good, you're going to attract good. And that's the point, isn't it?
mm,
Because we're human,
absolutely.
just because we're human, I love a little biscuit or a little cake now and that will mess me up for the
Oh yeah,
day. Yeah. So
yeah.
there's a
But
birthday or something.
when you've had a nice, good, healthy meal, yeah, I get what I call my happy tummy, where like I literally feel happiness
Yeah.
radiating from my stomach, and I just get in a really good mood. And this is not from like eating chocolate or rubbish like that. Um, it is for I find the more nutritious the food is, the more I get. And I don't know if this is just me being weird. Tell me if
No,
anybody else is experiencing that.
no, totally. I think sugar is the biggest culprit to the low moods. I
Yeah,
really do feel that. And that's how it affects me anyway. And that's because when you don't have a lot of it and
yeah,
then you don't have it for ages and then go back to it, that's when you notice the difference. But yeah,
mm,
that's how it affects me as well, the sugar. Yeah. So
definitely.
no sugar.
There was a bit of a sugar-free diet I went on one time. It wasn't really a diet, it was just consciously cutting out sugar. And
Difficult.
I had a glass of orange juice because I was also off alcohol. And I had a glass of orange juice at an event because I wasn't going to drink the wine. So I was like, okay, orange juice should be all right.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
such a sugar rush just off a glass of
Yes.
orange juice because
Yeah.
I wasn't used to drinking or eating sugar.
Totally.
It was crazy. I was like, whoa, this is almost like being drunk. And you don't
Yeah, it's
notice
good.
it if you eat sugar day to day.
Yeah,
It was just craziness, you know, and
that's right.
I think we don't realize how much the food we eat and the substances we consume day to day as part of our normal diet actually have such an effect. And until we eliminate it and then start
Yeah.
reintroducing it,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
quite mind blowing, really.
It is mind blowing and it's really important for our moods and raising our vibration with what we're consuming. If you look at a supermarket and
Yeah.
you walk into a supermarket, that much is fruit and veg,
Mm.
and the rest of the supermarket that goes like it seems like goes on for miles in big superstores are packets and tins. And
Yeah.
it's like that's all processed
Yep.
food. That much is fresh food and it's not even
Yep.
organic. And the rest is processed and
No.
tinned and packets and it's
Well,
stuff that's
if that much is
given
fresh
to us.
food, like that's the organic section, that bit,
Yes,
you know, it's
yes,
like
yes,
tiny, isn't
exactly.
it? Do you know
Yes,
there's a
yeah, and
rule? There's a rule I learned a while ago about supermarkets is that all the fresh food is around the outside of the supermarket, yeah? And
yes,
the
yes,
middle bit with the aisles is where all the processed
yeah,
stuff is.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you get the bulk of your stuff from the outside, because you think you walk into most supermarkets, you've got generally like the fruit and veg is the first thing. And how many
yeah,
people walk straight past that and go for the tins and packets? But yeah, if you get your fresh food, and your meat, I mean, here in France, you've got the butchers and the fishmongers is generally up at the back of the supermarket. In
yeah,
my supermarket, the fresh fruit and veg is down the other side. Apart from with Lidl, that's the first bit. But yeah, the general rule is all your fresh stuff is around the outside. And if you buy something processed, look at the label, and if there's more than like 4 items on the ingredients list, then it's best to avoid it, really.
mhm, mhm.
Um, but
Well, yeah,
not to say you can't have a bit of cake now and again, but
No,
it's
it's like you can
it's
little
yeah,
and
it's
often.
balancing
Yeah,
it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, little and often. But that's just what I've noticed over the years with the moods going up and down, personally. And
Mm,
so it's working on that as
yeah,
well because, the law of attraction, we want to raise our vibrations, we want to feel good. It's our given sovereign right to feel good, isn't
absolutely.
it? In this
Absolutely.
system that we're in on this journey of life.
I mean, funny you say that. Have you read Gay Hendricks' The Big Leap?
I haven't, no. Gay
Read
Hendricks, the
that
big
one.
leap.
Yes, because he invites you to consider the possibility that you could actually enjoy every moment of your life. And when you first read it, you're like, shut up, wherever you are in your journey, you think that's not possible. But okay, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, 2016, both my parents died, and that was not a good time. And I don't think anything would have meant that I would have a good time during that. But it's about how you recover from these things, isn't it? And it was after that that I moved to France, and it was after that that I started this leg of my business. And it's kind of the thing that, yes, we're going to go through stuff, but it's how we react. Like, was because sorry, Kim and I were in a networking meeting this morning, and this was very much discussed.
Yeah,
You can't change what's happening around you. You can
no,
only affect and change how you respond to it.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
could quite easily, my instinct, if I'd followed my instincts at the time of that horrible year, I would still be sat there crying into my pillow, like depressed and lonely and all the things. But
yeah.
actually, it's like life goes on. And it was testament to how my parents brought me up that
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
no, I'm going to do something with life, and I'm going to
yeah,
pick up, and I'm going to, use the skills they gave me and all the positive things
yeah,
that they've taught me.
yeah.
And yeah, on we go. And not like leave it all, and I still get sad about it, but it's
Of
more of a
course.
fondness, sad,
Yeah.
now, not like, oh my God, kind of
Oh,
thing.
no.
There's no self-pity. Um,
Yeah.
only like gratitude that they were my parents and they were amazing,
Oh, bless. Yeah, that's
So
good.
so yeah.
Oh,
So it's all
I'm really
about
sorry.
it's all about that.
I'm really sorry, Fiona, that you went through that.
Yeah.
Uh,
People have worse things. I know that sounds quite flippant, but it's, we've all got something, haven't we? We've all got something that's happened.
Yeah,
And
of course we have. We've all had our times, and we've all had our emotions. I don't think I'd class grief within the list of negative emotions because that's
no,
something totally different. That's attached to life,
it's a unique thing. Totally.
and everyone's different, and it's a different length of process with grief. It's totally different.
Mm,
Um,
it really
but
is.
with the negative emotions, I do talk about negative emotions, and I'm talking about anger and rage and fear and
Mm,
feeling really anxious. They're all quite negative emotions. Resentment and bitterness and jealousy and all of them kind of negative emotions, that keep your vibration quite low. So I
yeah.
had a lot of anger in my life, I would
Mm,
say. I was angry at a lot of other people. I was angry at my ex-partners. I was angry at the world. But what it really
mhm.
boiled down to is I was angry at myself for
Yeah.
choosing the path that I chose, being unfocused, and I created it
Mhm.
myself. So I was angry at myself. I had lots of anger issues. I've got lines in my forehead where I've been so angry. Look,
Yeah,
oh,
I've got these.
yeah. It's like, oh, why are you angry?
Yeah,
That was
it's
another,
like furrowed
you know,
brow. Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. It's like getting down to the nitty gritty and understanding that and accepting that, and then trying your best to move on from that by
Mm,
incorporating more positive emotions,
yeah.
and
And
we
reframing
can't,
things.
yeah, reframing things and seeing the world and yourself in a totally different way. We can
Mm,
work on ourselves. We can't be happy 24/7, can we? Bouncing off the
no.
ceiling 24/7, happy,
It's not
clappy
always
all the time.
appropriate for that, is it? Do you know what I
I
mean?
don't
It's
think
not
that's
always
even
appropriate.
possible.
Yeah,
I suppose
absolutely.
it is focusing on, working on, the positive emotions and being the best we can, really, and feeling. It's all down to the feelings as well, not only the thoughts you're thinking. It's how we feel, the
Absolutely.
energy that we're radiating. I find that's most important, to work on, to get
Mm,
better results, and to
yes.
attract better things to ourselves.
Yeah, it's that kind of positive vibe thing, isn't it?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I always think when we've got bad things happening, there's a lesson in there somewhere, and there's a blessing that can come out of it. I used to
Yeah.
hear when I was in sales, um, uh, I used my sales manager, whatever he was called, used to say, "It's not a problem, it's an opportunity." And I used to think, naughty word, you're talking
I can
another
imagine.
naughty word. And I was like, what are you even talking about? This was back in my old mentality. But
Yeah.
actually, I now see that he was right,
Mm.
because there's a lesson in something. And when something like triggers you, when something makes you feel like, "Ugh," there's a lesson. Something is mirroring yourself,
Yeah.
because you only see
Yeah.
yourself in everything. The world is a reflection of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you've got to ask yourself, okay, why is this doing this to me? What is going on inside of
Yeah.
me that's making me
Yeah.
feel this way? Because it's not
Yeah.
that person or that thing that's happened.
Yeah.
It's my response to it. So why am I
Yes,
responding like this?
that's
And so this
right.
is how we can develop, isn't it?
Yes, certainly
But
can.
yeah, I'm aware we're talking, I mean, this is great stuff, but we are talking law of attraction. Because I think when we do this work and we've got this higher vibe, then we attract that
Yeah.
thing, the good stuff, which is
Yeah.
one reason why you and I are talking, because we were at a
Yeah.
networking meeting, we
Totally.
clicked, we
Yeah.
vibed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Attracting things. Yes, I wrote some things down.
awesome. Let's hear
Um,
it, because this is
yes,
gold.
the attracting things. It's your language as well. It's the way you're talking to yourself. It's the
Yes.
way you're talking in general about the things you want to attract to yourself. And I always say to myself, I always get what I want. You know,
Yeah.
that's been in my language, because when you're doing this kind of work, you need to affirm to yourself the kind of things that you do want to happen in your life. Not so
Yes.
much, oh, it always goes wrong for me and I get all the bad luck.
Mm.
And this is what I don't know about yours, but that was my old language.
Yeah, and what do people focus on most of the time is what they don't have.
Yeah,
"Oh, I've got no money." How many
yeah,
people say that, and then they've got no money? They
yeah,
and they can't get out of that pattern because that's their story.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
yeah,
people will sit there going, "Fiona, you can say that. You live in France and you've got all of this." Now, I grew up in a council house.
yeah,
My parents did not have a penny, 2 pennies to
yeah,
rub together growing up, and
yeah,
I don't know how they managed to bring us up the way they
yeah,
did. They did an amazing job,
yeah,
but I did not grow up in money at all by any stretch of the imagination, and everything I have today, I've worked for, I've aspired
yeah,
to, I've done myself, and
yeah,
I've changed my own life to make this
yeah,
happen through law of
totally.
attraction, largely because it
Yeah,
was just before I came out of, say, the employed world,
yeah,
that I discovered law of attraction. And what
yeah,
it did, when I think back on it, I didn't realize this was happening at the time, but I was focusing on the things I did want, not the things I didn't want.
mm,
And I remember thinking, when I was feeling really, really strung out one day, I remember just and I can still sort of like feel it now. I said, I want somehow to be able to make my living from home. I want to, have do a job or run a business or something from home and have it pay my bills and do all of the things.
yeah,
And here is where I am now, 11, 12 years
yeah,
later, with all of that stuff. And at the time, I didn't realize, but I actually repelled having a job at
Yeah.
that point,
Yes.
you know, and the universe conspired to get me out of employment into self-employment. Because that was what was gonna
Exactly.
get me there, you know?
Isn't it? That's right. It's amazing,
Weird.
really. It's weird, it's amazing, it's
Absolutely.
fantastic at the same time. Once you get
Absolutely.
that knowing and the awareness, which was
Yeah.
talked about this morning, it's having that
Yeah.
awareness and thinking, "Oh, this is miraculous." You know, this is
It is.
miraculous. So it's again keeping your moods and your feelings in a good place rather than in a low frequency. You know, I
Yes.
really do
Yes.
believe in the energy and the high frequency stuff. And it's a daily process, isn't it? It's like working on it every single day, like having a shower or a bath. You have
Yeah.
to do it every single day. It's not something that you learn once and then forget about it, is it? It's
No.
reading the books. I've read so many different positive thinking books, you know, in the beginning. They're all explaining positive
Mhm.
thinking and feeling in different ways, but at the end of the day, the message is the same. It's the
Yeah.
universal laws of nature. It's nature, isn't it? The
Absolutely.
way the world
It
works.
is.
So I remember making lists and bucket lists about the things that I did want. Do you ever do
Mhm.
that?
Oh,
Make
yes.
bucket lists.
I've got my goals all written down. I've got my, like, long-term goals, I've got my shorter-term goals, and, like, at the moment, I've got this actually, I'll show you, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I won't show you what's in it because that's for me. I've got this amazing planner I got off Amazon, and it's basically got, so, without showing you too closely, what's in there? My life's big picture. That's my stream of consciousness about what I want from life. And here it's
Excellent.
got my goals for the next
Yeah,
year in different
yeah,
areas of my life:
yeah.
health, fitness, and beauty, all sorts, heart and spiritual. Top 5 goals for this year, top 5 goals, that is. And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
my mind map of my life. Somebody's going to still that and like screenshot it, aren't they, to know what's going on in my twisted little mind. Um, and then break it down by month, and then it then goes into break it down by week, so I can refer
Oh,
back
wow.
to how this has progressed for me and my goals. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, this is the first time I've done this level of planning this year,
That is a
and
level. That's another level. That is another
that is
level.
another level. I mean, that was like 15 quid off Amazon, so it doesn't take a you know, it's not. It doesn't need to cost you the earth to get your
No,
head in gear.
no,
Do you know what I mean?
no, of
It's
course not. And I think
but
some people need that as well. That
yeah,
strategy.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been dreadful at setting goals. I've was it Joe today was saying about how did she put it? It's not a smart goal, but I wrote this down. A quality goal. I wrote this down because I hate smart goals. I hate that kind of by 20th of January, I'm going to have
No,
blah
I
blah blah
can't
blah.
do that. No.
No,
I
but
think
I know
things
what I
comes
want, and if I can feel it and you know
yes.
it's on its way,
Yes, you
and
do.
that's law of attraction,
And it will
trusting
come
that
in
it's
divine.
coming.
It will come in divine timing at the right time. And sometimes we can't even
Yeah,
put a date on it, you know, for 2 months or 3 months or next year. It will come at the right time. That's what
when it's
seems,
ready.
you know, to have happened to me. Um,
Mm.
I was telling you earlier when we met last and we had a chat that I attracted my favourite actor who I really wanted to meet.
Oh, yes. You guys got to hear about this. Oh my
Oh, I really
goodness,
wanted
go
to
on.
meet. Oh, I was in love several years ago. I remember seeing this guy on TV on this drama
Go
called
on, tell
Being
us who it
Human.
was.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest,
Aidan,
I think everyone's gonna be like, "Whoa,"
yeah, yeah.
like I did.
His name's Aidan Turner, and he plays Poldark. And when I
He
saw him several
does.
years ago in a really silly drama, I'd followed all of his work ever since for years and
It
years.
wasn't
Every
Being
single episode of
Human. Was that the first thing you
yeah,
saw
Being
him in?
Human he was
Oh,
in. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's when I
That
saw him
was
and I
where he got
thought,
me. It had to be
"Oh,
from Being
look
Human,
at
Nathan.
him, he's lovely."
Oh, and that accent. Oh my god, sorry. Whew, gonna
I
get gooey.
know, I know.
Go on.
But
Hey,
let's calm down.
So, please, okay, please continue in a measured and logical manner, please, Kim.
It's good for raising the vibes, though, isn't it? It's good to raise the vibe, to get excited and get the feeling.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
So
So I'd loved him. I had a picture on my wall like a silly teenager, and I did it basically for my vision board because it was a feel good picture. Whatever you're looking at, if you're feeling good, it doesn't matter what it is, it's feeling good. And his face made me feel good, so I had him on my vision board, and and I was at a networking meeting up the West End with a friend. And as we come out of the meeting, when we could go to physical meetings, obviously,
yeah.
um, and there was a billboard outside of the theatre that we walked past, and his face was on it, Aidan Turner's face. And I said, "Oh my God, Aidan Turner, he's in this theatre. He's going to be in this show." And it was for 3 months only. So I ran in there and I got myself a ticket. Yeah, and then I was even more excited because I thought, I'm going to see Aidan Turner
Yeah.
on the stage, like not as a picture, but as him. After the show, it was a really good show. After that, there's a couple of girls next to me saying, he comes out of the back doors after the show. So I just heard what they said, and I ran round there with him, and I actually met him and got his photos and got his autograph, and I was buzzing
Oh,
like a little girl. And I thought,
oh,
I
that.
attracted that. That was amazing, you know.
Yeah. Because
Um,
of all the people in all the world, in all of the gin joints and all of that, you know, you walk past
what
the
are
theatre
the
that he was performing in,
odds? Exactly.
like,
What
you
are
know,
the odds of that? That's because it's in
it
the belief system that you're a co-creator and you can make things happen.
absolutely.
Yeah. Um,
And I think, you know, to those of you who think we're completely doolally and completely off with the fairies about all of this universe stuff, at the very, very least, what happened there is he's somebody that was very much forefront in your mind, and you saw that poster. Now, if you weren't much bothered by Aidan Turner, you would have walked past that poster. But the
yes,
fact that, and it
exactly.
could have been anybody, let's be honest,
Yeah, yeah,
the fact that he was somebody that you really kind of felt an attraction to, without one for a better term, you were like, I'm going to watch that show. I'm going to
yeah,
breathe the same air as that man, you know?
yeah.
So you saw
Subconsciously, it
it
was in
and
my
you acted
focus.
upon it. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yeah.
So, and
Subconsciously,
it's that thing, you know, it's that whole thing, you know, you might buy a car that you've
mm,
never even heard of before, but you happen to buy that car because that's the
yeah,
car that's available, fits your needs. Like, for
yeah,
example, we a last car we had was something called a Kia, you know, Kia the make, and
yeah,
it's the Sedona.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
massive, great big people carrier, almost like a van. Lovely
yeah,
car. Never seen one before. We saw this
yeah,
particular one that we bought.
yeah.
Um, and then suddenly you're driving around and you see them everywhere.
And they're
I'd never seen
everywhere.
one before. Yeah, because
That's
you've
right.
seen it,
Totally everywhere.
it's your focus. And that's the same with anything that you want, you know? Like when I was, no, 'cause another sort of hit, I don't say this is a sob story at all because it's not. But we tried for children for a while and couldn't get pregnant. But while I was going through that journey of trying to get pregnant and have an IVF, I saw pregnant women
Yeah,
everywhere,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely everywhere,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I
And I think
know.
that's true when you get pregnant, you also then start seeing pregnant women
Yeah,
everywhere, and you start seeing
that's right.
babies everywhere,
That's
because
right.
that's what's on your mind. Now I'm not. Now I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that's no longer my focus. I've got dogs
Yeah,
instead, which is I don't know,
yeah,
which is better. But um, I barely know anybody who's pregnant, or I
yeah.
barely know any young children
It's
like outside of my family or whatever. So
it's
it's
amazing,
yeah,
isn't
but
it?
I know
It's
loads of people with
so
dogs, loads of people.
yeah, dog mummies and daddies, exactly. It's like living in a
Absolutely,
bubble with your own focus, isn't it?
yeah.
And what you believe in, you will attract. What you it's like you get what you're telling yourself, you get what you
Mm,
believe in. It's like you're giving yourself instructions. It's like if I was to say to you,
totally.
take a look around your room and see how many blue things you can see, yeah?
Mm.
And then close your eyes and tell me how many red things there were. You
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to tell me how many red things there were because your focus was on the blue things. It's like it's having
yeah,
that real. focus from the subconscious mind, which is so powerful. A friend of mine
It
gave me
is.
her horse because I was horse mad, absolute horse mad.
Well,
And again, something
mm,
miraculous happened. My friend gave me her horse because I was going down to the stables every weekend excitedly with raised vibrations like a child. Oh my God, I'm going down the stables. It was so excited. But my friend's daughter could not look after the horse anymore because she got pregnant. She was only young. So she said to me, Kim, you're down here all the time. Do you want him? Look after him. I didn't buy him. That was the most expensive hobby I'd ever had in my whole life.
yeah, yeah, you had to pay money out somewhere, though, I'm sure. I know horses
Yes,
can be quite
he was
expensive to
taking all
run.
my money. He was like, it cost me the earth, but what an experience. Something I'd
Yeah,
wanted for a long, long time. Where I was going down the stables, it was in my focus. I was feeling high. I was getting excited. The feelings more than the thoughts. And it happened,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I've got lots of
And
stories
that's
like that. So,
it, the
yeah.
feeling, the thought. I mean, thoughts create your feelings, and your
Yes.
feelings are what create your actions and the things that come to you. But it's the feelings, feeling that,
Yeah. Yeah.
really imagining you've already got it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the thing,
It's
isn't
like,
it?
when you're feeling a certain way, I believe we're living in different dimensions. When you're feeling a
Mm,
certain way, you're going to attract, if it's a low vibration, you're going to attract what else is in your bubble of experience into that low vibration. Yeah. And then
yeah,
if you're feeling a little bit better, you're going to attract the little bit better, you know, events, scenarios, people. Yeah. And we can get up to different levels. And when you're really excited, that's when the really exciting stuff comes in. So
yeah.
that's why I
Because
feel that it's really important to feed yourself well to feel good. Yeah.
yes, definitely. Because it's high vibe, isn't it? And I think the more processed the food, the further removed it is from life. You
Yes.
think of a fresh apple, that's practically still alive,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's still got all
Yes.
its freshness and crispness, and that's
Yeah.
really, really good for you. But
It's
dried
alive.
apple, less so.
Mm.
And some apple sauce type of granola bar or something so
Yeah.
far removed from
Yeah.
the natural food.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
then you get to the highly processed stuff. The
Yeah.
more processed, like the more dead the food is. And if you're eating
Yes.
dead stuff,
There you go.
what's that doing to you? You know?
Exactly. It's giving you
Yeah.
feelings, isn't it? It's so miraculous.
It is. It's all just so logical when you think about it as well. Um, and yeah, I think the more you immerse yourself in this kind of world, the more you're like, oh my goodness, that is just amazing.
It
But
is.
anyway, we're completely digressed, and I really want to hear what's on your list of things that you wrote down. I do apologize. I keep
On my
interrupting and
list.
dragging you off
Okay.
in all directions.
I used to, I did, I said I worked in a job that I really disliked, and I did it for
Yeah.
17 years. Okay. And I was scared to get out of that, but I worked in a supermarket that I really didn't like. And I remember when I had my crash, finding myself a coach, and she was called a positive empowerment coach. She taught me all the tools and techniques. She taught me, energy, quantum science, but in a really simple way. And I remember thinking, how amazing to be a coach. How amazing would it
Mm,
be to be a coach rather than working in this supermarket that I don't like? And over time, I took the steps, I took the action, and things happened. Met the right people, things happened, and you get into that, what you do as work, and you've got to believe in yourself to do this kind of work. And I had to come out of my shyness. I had to learn to find my voice. I was so
yeah.
shy, and that was the scariest thing to do, to try and learn to speak without being drunk, to
Yeah.
say something, to give opinions without actually having a drink. I had to
Believe
learn
in
that.
yourself.
I can do that.
Mm,
Anyone can do anything. So
mm,
I wanted to become a coach. That happened. I wanted to become or do something with art as well, because I'd
mm-hmm,
loved art at school. Never did anything with
mm,
art. And I came across another lady networking, a really good friend of mine now, she is, and we worked together. She's an author for children's books. And because she knew I used to love to paint and draw, she asked me
mm-hmm.
to be her illustrator for the children's book.
Wow.
So we've got 12 children's books. So I'm the illustrator for
Wow.
12 children's books. I
That's
can show
amazing.
you these. This is just a handful of them, but they're all
Mhm.
about a little dog who teaches people things, you know?
Oh,
So
fab.
I felt quite, oh, wow, I attracted that. And we took steps and we made it happen. You know, I also wanted to be
Quite
the
amazing.
author of my own book. They say we've all got a book in us. So I started to write my
Absolutely.
own book. When I said to you, started writing when thinking back when I was 5 years old, that was the start of my book.
Mhm.
Didn't know it'd be a book. Took a few years,
Wow.
but turned
Yeah.
it into a book. But in the beginning, it was my therapy, but turned it into a
So
book
this
with,
is the book that the Out of the
yeah,
Shadows book that you
yeah.
started writing that when you were 5.
That's my
Wow.
personal journey of what happened and how it happened and how it switched from one mindset to a different mindset. It wasn't going to be a
Mm.
book because there's so much of my dirty laundry in there that I've exposed to the
Yeah,
world, but I feel that it had to be exposed to help other people, and it does.
absolutely. I mean, people
Um,
relate to stories. That's like marketing 101 these
yeah,
days, isn't it? It's
yeah,
share your story and be authentic.
yeah.
And
Everyone's got the
that's
story.
how you, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, there's
So
that.
what else have
And
you got?
Ruby Wax actually gave me a testimonial on Amazon for
No
the Out of the
way.
Shadow. Yeah, which I was
Because
quite
she's fab.
pleased
She's a big
about.
mental health
Yeah,
advocate, isn't
yeah,
she? And she's
yeah.
done some amazing stuff lately.
Yeah, she has. She's amazing. She's the mental health guru as well, isn't she? So I was
Yeah,
really pleased about that because I was raising my vibration, wasn't
yeah.
I? Raising my
Attracting that
vibe
kind of
and
thing.
working on myself with all the tools.
Mm,
Um, I going through all of my bad patch as well. At one point, I lost everything after my divorce. I
wow.
absolutely lost everything,
Mm,
and I was actually homeless. So I had to stay with, family, and then get on my feet, and then stayed with a friend. And
mm,
I lost my car. I lost absolutely everything. And a couple of years ago, I wasn't driving for a few years whilst I was trying to get on my feet, but quite a few years ago, I remember on my vision board having this car that I wanted. It's only a little car, a little run around. And 2 years ago, I manifested my car and I didn't buy it. The same as the horse, I didn't buy it. The same as
wow.
the books, I didn't buy them. Everything that I believe has come to me has actually come to me, even down to little things like phones and iPads and
Hmm.
things, because I use the tools, because I keep the working on the vibe, and because of my
Hmm.
language and the things I believe in and
Yeah.
what I say, I even say I attract things to myself really easily. Even that's in my vocab.
Just
So,
to say that,
just say
to
that
make
until you
that
get
your
it into
story
to make it your
makes it
belief.
your truth. Yeah.
Yes. And it's the feelings
Incredible.
that matter so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that's in your language, oh, it's all rigged in my favour. It all goes my way.
Mm,
I'm a lucky winner. It's that kind of language that will help you to get there, and it's daily.
it is. And it's got to
It's
be. I
daily.
don't know if you are you familiar with is it Rob Dias? He's like a positivity type coach. He's got podcasts and YouTube channels and everything. Anyway, he came up with a really good
I think I do.
analogy of, yeah, of your mind being like a vase, and like a negative mindset is like a vase full of mud.
Yeah,
And you're not going to clear that mud out of that vase by doing a drip, by dripping water in. But
mm,
if you get a hose pipe and you
yeah,
you don't even have to tip the mud out, you just flush that
yeah,
vase with clear water,
mm,
just like then you absolutely clear the mud out, and then you end up with the positive mindset and the clear water in that glass. I love that analogy because it's got
yeah,
to be like that, isn't it? And
yes,
almost like it's almost like I feel like when you watch certain news channels, or a lot of the news channels. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's important to be aware of what's going on in the world and then sort of have a foot in reality, but it doesn't do you too much good to be consumed by the news. And there have
that's
been times in my life, like over Brexit and when COVID first happened, that it was just like news all the time and just like, oh my God, it's all so dreadful. And, it doesn't really help your mindset to be
Mm.
flooded because it's like throwing clods of dirt in that vase again.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and I think it's really important to actually keep that vase clear and,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just
That's right. It's
because it doesn't help you on
no,
a vibrational or physical level to be
no,
consumed with
no.
this fear. You've got to come from a place of love, not a place of fear.
Yes. Oh,
That's because they're
exactly.
like the opposite.
There's the word. You're so right. That's right.
Mm,
That's a brilliant analogy. And there's the word love at the
yeah,
end. Yeah. Self-love. It begins with self-love and accepting yourself as a person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Then it is a lot easier to give it out to other people when you can love and accept yourself.
absolutely. It's that whole
And
reflection thing, isn't
yeah,
it? An attraction.
yeah,
If you love yourself,
yeah.
then it's easier to love other people, and you
Yes.
attract people who come from
Yeah.
a place of love as well.
It's
And I
exactly.
don't get me wrong, I know terrible things happen in the world. I know that
Yes.
that happens, but I don't need to focus on it. I can only help my corner of the world. I can't go and sort the situation in name war-torn country here. Um, but I can just have a ripple effect on my world and my part of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that was
More we can
Erica watching. Did you see Erica's comment there? Sorry.
no, I can't see. I can't
Have we been
see.
going for an hour? We have. This only feels like 5 minutes,
I
doesn't
know,
it,
I
to us?
know. It's
Me
like
and you, we're still our own little world. We're always enjoying this, good, but, we don't mind. We're just having a chat.
I love it. Love it.
Oh, thank you for watching, Erica. Love you.
Yeah, thank you, my darling. Love you to bits. Thank you.
I do love Erica. She is amazing.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, before we go, any other amazing little tidbits that you have for us? Because I recognize that bit that you said about the focus. If you
Yeah.
say look around the room and look at the blue things, and then close
Yeah.
your eyes and tell me what you saw that was
Yeah.
red. I
Yeah. Yeah.
recognize that from Tony
Yeah.
Robbins's thing the other week. Did you tune into that at all? Because he
No.
mentioned that on day one, but it's something that he says a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
It's
anything
true.
else that it's absolutely true. You see what you focus on.
Yeah, exactly. You focus, having the
So
awareness of how you're feeling and the kind of thoughts you're having. Yeah. Visualizing is a big thing. Yeah. Make
mm,
sure you are visualizing and seeing what you do want, not what you don't want. That's a
yeah,
big thing. And never let go of your inner child. And
yeah.
laughing as well. Yeah, finding things to make yourself laugh, make yourself feel good, focusing on that. Yeah, never lose
Mhm.
our inner child because we get too boring and complacent or miserable, and misery attracts misery. So it's really important to keep your inner
Does.
child. I love meeting people, and I do meet people who are chatty and giggly like yourself and like Erica as well. And it's great. It's
Yeah,
such a feel good thing because it's in our language as well. So
yeah,
yeah, they would be my tips as well. And just,
definitely.
believing in yourself and pushing yourself forward with a little tiny bit of action at a time. Because it can be uncomfortable,
Mm,
can't it?
it
Taking
absolutely
those
can.
baby steps.
I mean,
Yeah.
from what just something else as well from you've just said about laugh more, and I don't know if you've heard of laughter yoga,
Yes.
but oh,
Have
that
you
was
been,
a
Fiona?
game
Have you
changer.
been?
I used to go every week to laughter yoga in Oswestry. If anybody knows, a laughter yoga teacher, just Google it, just find one near you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
just blooming fantastic. It was such
Yes.
because when I started going, I struggled to laugh, like really struggled to laugh. And then I remember being completely uncontrollably laughing when I've been going for a little while. We were doing what we did was it's just daft stuff,
Yeah, it's silly, isn't it?
fun
The sillier the better.
dance laughing. So like mental flossing and just like laugh while you do it. And then we were doing this like barn dance laughing. I can't remember. It was like, and we'd swing each other around, like hook elbows and swing. And,
Yeah.
oh, I was laughing so hard, and I just collapsed at the side of the
Yeah.
room in a chair, and me and the person I was, like, swinging around with, we were just in bits, and everyone was just like, "Are you guys alright?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're fine."
What a
But
brilliant
that
high vibe thing
really,
to do.
it really did. It
Really is.
raised the vibration through the roof. It really
Yeah,
did.
most
So
definitely.
yeah, that's one way if you are, 'cause when I started going there was actually, at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, and I was still really
Yeah.
doing that vibrational raising thing, and so it was a
Yeah.
great way of just giving me a real foot up to raise the vibe.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's
yeah,
amazing to do
that's
that. It
that's
is.
just out of this world.
It's
Amazing.
great. I feel quite blessed because I got, 2 grown-up children. They're in their, like, late 20s, early 30s, and we always have a laugh.
Oh,
We
yeah,
always giggle, we're always laughing, and we're, on the phone to each other and that, and I feel quite blessed. They're quite positive thinkers as well, so I feel quite blessed with my children as well, and my family, so another
yeah.
thing to be grateful for. Yeah, totally.
Mm,
Yeah, it's all
absolutely.
good. High vibes.
Cool. Well, it's been really amazing, and I can't believe we've been going for an hour, but we have.
I know.
So I'm just gonna say, if anybody's watching this on replay, I know Erica has been with us and has had to go, but if anybody's stuck with us this far on the replay, then please drop a hash replay in the comments. Give us a like, a bit of love. Kim, do please drop some links into the comments when we come off here to say where people can get in touch with you further, your website, and if you've got a group or a page or anything like that, then yeah, absolutely, because I love to share the love with other
Oh,
entrepreneurs and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you.
it's been
Thank you
really
so
amazing chatting to you, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh,
It's not really a show,
bless
it's my Monday
you.
live, but
Oh, it's great. It's
And
been absolutely great.
if anybody else wants to come and be, I'd say interviewed, it's not really an interview, is it? It's just a chat and a
It's a great
vibrational
chat.
raising thing.
Yeah.
Then yeah, just drop me a message, and I will sort you out and have you on the show. Sounds weird saying that.
It's great. It's great.
Right.
It's fabulous. You got your own show. I love that.
Well,
You believe it.
this is the beauty of the internet and social media now is that anyone can do this, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can just create a thing, jump on, get on StreamYard or just on Facebook, and just have a show and a chat and do their thing. Don't have to be Oprah
Brilliant.
to have your own channel.
Oh, well, thank
Fab
you so
stuff.
much for inviting me, Fiona. I've had such fun with you today chatting. I've loved every second, and it's gone too quick. It does when you're having fun,
Welcome.
doesn't it? It's
It
all good.
has. I
It's all
did warn
great.
you this might happen, but it's
It's good. Oh, thank you.
great.
Bless
Well,
you.
take care, everyone. Bye.
Oh, take care. Thank you.